So let me tell you what is so special about this, the final week in October. To do that, I need to take you back a century, 123 years to be precise, where on the 31st of October in 1895, India's first ever test captain was out the #1 test side in the world. Colonel C.K. Naidu in 1932 led out 10 men in whites for the very first time in Indian Test cricket history. Now, the Lifetime Achievement Award is one of the most coveted in the Indian cricket circles, and that is because of his longevity. He played first-class cricket for 6 decades, coming out one last time to the crease all padded up. Now, around the time that Colonel C.K. Naidu was roughly 5 years old, on the 23rd of October was born the man who would go on to be his opposition captain when he led India for the very first time in Test cricket. England captain, 1932-33 Ashes tour of Australia. He instructed his bowler to go on to captain England in 15 Test matches, retiring from all forms. It was not the only connect he had with India. Believe it or not, Douglas episode that has a deep connect with India. Every time Matthew Hayden comes here, he's the first to pull out his kurta or his lungi, depending on where he is, and the first to dig into the dal makhni and the chicken tikka masala, and God forbid, there is no garlic naan. There's so much fun spending time with Hayden that you tend to forget that he was one of the most aggressive batsmen of his generation. An Australian Hall of Famer and an absolute Goliath in the 2007 Cricket World Cup, one half of the most prolific opening partnership that Australia had seen in Test cricket. A beloved Chennai Super King, he will celebrate his birthday on the 29th of this month. Happy birthday, Haydos. Aggressive Australian opening batsman. When I say that, you think of David Warner, right? I mean, most of us know that he was the first Australian cricketer to make his international debut without even having played first-class cricket in 132 years. Sunrisers Hyderabad, they love him for gallantly leading them to the title in 2016. There is a chapter of records when it comes to David Warner's prowess in limited overs, and he has proved his potential in the purest format as well. Now, I know it's disappointing because he is so talented and he has leadership abilities that right now he's embroiled in controversy. But on the 27th of October, let it go. Let's just celebrate his birthday. Happy birthday, David. David Warner was the first Australian batsman to score 100 in his 100th ODI. And speaking of first, Boria Majumdar has one from the stash. It's time for us to take a breather here on this week's special, but during this time, tweet into us using the hashtag TWS on SS, and I'll see you in a bit. Diary. Mated, now down to a bowler who made them submit. Most recently, Courtney Walsh was kitted up amongst the Bangla Tigers as their bowling coach in the Asia Cup. And speaking of which, in the last 4 editions, the Bangla Tigers have made an appearance in 3 finals. We all know of their giant-killing ways in the ICC World Cups. But the Bangla Tigers are more than just underdogs. Case in point, 2 years ago on the 30th of October in Dhaka, in an extraordinary final session, they claimed 10 wickets to pick up their first ever Test victory over England. On and off the field, it was so thrilling for us here in the Star Sports studios to have Sangha imparting his knowledge. His calm and collected demeanor, don't let that fool you. There is a competitive fire that burns, one that propelled him to almost 30,000 international runs, one that kept him going until he finally had a piece of ICC silverware in his hands. One of the most influential cricketers of his generation, he celebrates his 41st birthday on the 27th. Happy birthday, Sangha. Now, I'm sure that many of you have your favorite Sangha moments. Some of those maybe that include some refined moments of sledging. Share those stories with us using the hashtag TWS on SS. Here's what some of you had to say last week. No, most of you are already going to be anticipating us looking and celebrating Virat Kohli's birthday, Lakshman's birthday, and the moment when we said goodbye to Ashish Nehra. I'll see you next week.